Hey darling, Danetha here, creator of Money Mimosas and the host of the Money Sex Power podcast. And today is Friday, one of my favorite days of the week because it's time for your money date and time for me to answer a few of your money questions. If you're new to Money and Mimosas, new to the concept of money dates, welcome. Be sure to check out this video where I walk through exactly what a money date is and all the steps that it entails. Essentially, it's your time to sit down, review your finances, celebrate your wins, and reflect on how you can use your money to make a difference. I consider it a ritual, a sacred practice to get in touch with your finances. I choose to do my money dates on Friday for two main reasons. I guess three main reasons. One, it's Friday. It's a great day. Another reason is because of astrology. The planet Venus governs Friday, and Venus rules over beauty and abundance. Also, in African spirituality, the Orisha Oshun, who rules over beauty and abundance, her day is Friday as well. So you can do your money date on any day of the week that you wish. I choose to do mine on Friday for the reasons that I mentioned, and I invite you to do it on Friday as well. Before we hop into this week's questions, I always love to share a beauty, lifestyle, health tip. And this week's tip is a beauty tip that I learned from one of my good girlfriends. During one of our weekly calls, I asked her, how do you keep your skin so moisturized and luxurious during the winter months? My skin was starting to feel a little dry, particularly on my legs, and I asked her for some advice. And like a good girlfriend, she immediately knew what to offer or what to say, and her advice was to use cocoa butter and mix it with almond oil. So she said, get some cocoa butter, melt it down, rub it on your skin, and then after you rub it on your skin, particularly my legs, because those were the ones that were really dry, and then after that, add almond oil, lather your skin with almond oil. And she suggested to do it after you get out of the shower, but also just before you go to bed. And I tried it and it has worked wonders, especially doing it right before I go to bed. I tried it for a few weeks and then I tested it. I went one night without doing my cocoa butter almond oil mix, and my skin was so dry the next day. And I realized that my cotton sheets were soaking away all the moisture in my skin. So if you have dry skin and you're looking for some beauty tips, there you go. Let me know if you try it out and how it works for you. And now for this week's money questions. Hey there. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show you all. There's a road runner right over here. Okay, I'm going to take a video on my phone and then add it to this because I want you all to see this cute bird. Oh my gosh. The road runner, say hi. You're on the Money and Mimosas YouTube. Oh my gosh. So I'm really into nature, as you may know if you've been watching Money and Mimosas. And animals are a spiritual, they have a lot of spiritual significance, and I believe they show up in your life to give you a message. So roadrunners, I'm looking at it because it's like puffing up its feathers right now. It's like getting all poofy. So road runners represent going steadfast and once you have a goal in mind and intention, going for it full throttle. And so I feel like that's a message for me and possibly for you. How exciting. Okay, so we digress. Here is this week's money questions. The first one comes from Sahara, who is from the United States, specifically Los Angeles in California. She asked, how do I create multiple streams of income? Great question, Sahara. So I have lots of ideas for you. And this is the reason why I started the Money Makers, which is the paid membership portion of Money and Mimosas, because I felt that in financial education, there was a lot of information around how to budget, how to save, maybe some information around how to invest, but not a lot of information around how to make money. That's why I named it Money Makers and created a whole affordable program around how to be a moneymaker. So there are 3 steps I would recommend taking. The first step is to get clear on what your skills are, what you love doing, and how you can make money doing that. I like to refer to this concept from the Japanese culture called ikigai. Here's a picture of it, and you'll see from this image, it is a guide to doing some introspection to see where all of these different elements of your life intersect into a place that's called ikigai. And this is where you can make money doing what you love, doing things that you're good at, as well as feeling fulfilled because you're doing something that gives back to the community. So I would recommend starting with this exercise and doing some introspection, some deep reflection around how you can get as many of those aspects to intersect in your pursuit of creating multiple streams of income, making money. Once you've done that introspection exercise, the next step is to create a list of ideas of side hustles that you can pursue. And if you head over to moneymimosas.com, we have a whole section on side hustles. There's tons of options. There's online tutoring. If you are into health and wellness and you have a skill set around that, perhaps it's health coaching for you or being some sort of trainer. There's so many options available to be able to create multiple streams of income. Make a list of 3 to 5 ideas. Choose one to pursue first. You can pursue all of them if you want, but I recommend starting with one and setting a goal of earning $1,000 per month, $1,000 per month, and doing that consistently for, say, 3 months. So set the goal of getting to $1,000 per month in income from that side hustle. And then the last step is to create a plan on how to do that and tend to this plan on a consistent basis. Generating multiple streams of income is like growing a garden. It takes time, it takes energy, focus, and consistent focus. You've got to water the garden, you've got to water your multiple streams of income. Start with one, get some momentum behind that, and then add on to it. If you're looking for some accountability and some structure around how to generate multiple streams of income, I encourage you to check out Money Makers. You can find out about that program over at moneymimosas.com. Question number 2 is from Vivian. Vivian is from Indonesia, and Vivian asks, how do I build a stronger financial life? Great question, Vivian. And I did do some research on Indonesia so that I can try to tailor my response to your specific situation. And if anyone else has a similar question, there are some general ideas that I'll also share that you can hopefully apply to your life as well. First step, Vivian, is similar to Sahara in Los Angeles. I would recommend doing some introspection where you assess what you love doing, what your skill set is, and what the opportunities are around you to determine how you can generate income from your own skill set. Now, you can use this introspection to look for a traditional job, apply to a company's job listing, and get a job that way. I would also recommend, in addition to that, if you already have a job, still pursuing side hustles. And if you do not have a job right now, and that's your first step is to find a position, I would still recommend pursuing some sort of side hustle, freelance opportunity, because that is how you build a strong foundation. Having multiple streams of income is the best way to ensure that you are generating long-lasting wealth, and that regardless of what the economy is doing, you will be in a position to be able to not only survive, but to thrive. So first step is to assess your own skills, assess what you love doing, assess the opportunities that you see are available to you. You can use the Ikigai concept that I mentioned to Sahara in the first question that I answered to help you navigate this. And the second step is similar to Sahara as well, is to brainstorm different ways you can generate income as a freelancer, as doing some sort of side hustle. Perhaps you're a writer. That means that you can maybe create your own blog. You could market yourself as a content marketer for other companies where you help them generate articles for their website. There are lots of options depending upon the skill set that you have that are available to you. And as a freelancer, you can check out various sites to add your profile to so that you can look for opportunities that maybe are in Indonesia or they are in other countries. I would highly recommend looking for opportunities in various locations of the world. That's the beauty of the internet, that we are no longer limited to our immediate surroundings. We can look to other countries for opportunities, whether you're living in Indonesia like you are, Vivian, or even someone that's living in a different country, say the UK or the US or New Zealand. I highly recommend diversifying your client base. I do that as well, where I work with clients that are in various countries because one, it makes it more fun. It's great to expose yourself to other cultures. And like I said, it does diversify your income streams. Therefore, you're able to weather any financial storm that may come your way. And then the last tip is specific to your situation, Vivian, in Indonesia. I did some research on the startup community within Indonesia, and there seems to be heavy traction, a lot of momentum in the cloud kitchen space. So food delivery startups are attracting a number of investors. Here are a few examples. There is Hangry, which recently received a $3 million investment from Sequoia Capital's Accelerator Program. Wayhu raised $5 million in a Series A by Intudo. And Yummy raised $12 million from a Series B round with SoftBank. I'm not sure if the food delivery industry is of interest to you, but that is a booming space as I gleaned from my research within Indonesia. So I would recommend checking out those companies. And let's say you're a writer, perhaps you can do some freelance writing for those companies. And at the very least, check them out to get your own creative juices flowing. Perhaps you don't necessarily work with those companies directly, but it may spark some inspiration by checking out what they're up to and what opportunities are arising because of this flood of investment that's coming in from them. Question number 3 comes from Brittany, and Brittany is living in Connecticut in the United States. And Brittany asks, how do I invest if I have lots in savings, but I'm risk averse? I don't know where to start. Fantastic question, Brittany. And I've got 5 steps for you to reflect on. So I hope you've got some notes as I walk through these. And you're not alone. There are a lot of people who have the means to invest, but for whatever reason, they feel risk averse. They're nervous to get started. So I hope that these 5 steps help you see that, one, you are missing out on opportunities, which you alluded to in another part of your question, that you realize that you're missing out on opportunities. The other piece, though, is that your money sitting in those low interest savings accounts means that it's not circulating in the economy. Therefore, there are people that are actually hurting because your money isn't being optimized to its fullest potential. And I'll walk through why that's the case. So the first step that you'll want to take is to identify your short-term and long-term goals. You want to get clear on where you want to be a year from now, 3 years from now. Those are short-term goals. And then where do you see yourself 20 years from now? Now, it is tough looking that far ahead. I wouldn't spend too much time there. However, you want to have a sense of where you want to be. Meaning, do you generally think you want to own a home in Connecticut where you're living right now? Or do you see yourself moving abroad and starting a life in another country? Where do you see your life going? Of course, as 2020 has shown us, things can change. So we want to be flexible and open to change. However, have a general sense of where you want to go, and that will help you get a clearer sense of what you want to do with your investment strategy. The second step is more on the psychology side of money, the emotional side of money. And I would recommend getting to the root of your financial feelings. I talk a lot about this in the Money Makers program, particularly the money mindset aspects of the Money Makers program. where I encourage all the members to truly peel back the layers of their emotional relationship with money, the psychology behind their financial decisions. Now, why do you want to do this in this case? Because you want to understand why you want to start investing. On the surface, it may seem like, well, I want to create a solid financial future for myself, or I feel that my money I'm not getting the most out of my money in my savings account. So of course I want to start investing. That's just practical and it makes logical sense. Yes, of course, all of those reasons are fine, but it only addresses the surface level of why you want to take this step, which is starting to invest. You have to get underneath that to truly understand what motivates you. For example, I'm thinking of a couple that I was working with, and they're a recently married couple. They had been married for 3 months. They had been together for a couple of years. And I was talking to the wife, and the wife said that she also wanted to start investing. She hadn't invested before, and she had some money that she could start investing with. And on the surface, it was, I think it's time for me to start investing. We're thinking about having a family. I want to ensure that I can cover my children's education, yada, yada, yada. All things that made sense, logical sense. Then I started asking her some deeper questions. And long story short, it was revealed that she wanted to start investing because she felt that she wasn't able to communicate with her husband around money. She felt that she honestly felt stupid about money, to put it bluntly. And this came out because I started asking her about what her husband was doing with his investments. And she revealed that she had no idea. In fact, she learned that her husband had been going to meetings with his financial advisor without her and was making all of these plans, and she felt left out, and she talked to him about it. She addressed it with him, and he said, well, anytime I bring up money, you zone out, your eyes glaze over, you act like you don't want to talk about it. So I've just been going to these meetings on my own because I figured if you don't want to talk about it, someone's got to do the work still. So he didn't include her in those conversations because he felt like she didn't want to be included. And it was in that moment that she realized, oh my goodness, of course I want to be included, but I feel inadequate. I don't feel smart enough. And that's why she came across as not being interested in those conversations, because it really was just a defense mechanism for her not feeling adequate. She felt inadequate around these topics. And that's really why she wanted to start investing, because she wanted to be able to hold a conversation with her husband. So once we got to the root of that shifted the way we approached her investment strategy. The third step is to set a monthly investment amount. Is this $500, $1,000, whatever the amount is? Be consistent about how much you invest each and every month. And the reason for this is because investing is a one-time thing. It's like working out or tending to your physical health. You don't get in all your workouts in 1 week and then don't have to work out for the rest of your life, right? It's about daily maintenance, really thinking about movement, physical movement, what you're putting in your body. Same thing applies to your finances. You want to do this on a consistent basis and build up a habit around investing. So set a dollar amount that you feel comfortable doing each and every month, and then investing that amount each and every month. Now, where do you invest that money? That's step number 4. And I do want to put a disclaimer out there that I'm not your investment advisor. Anyone that's watching this, I'm not giving specific investing advice. This is simply suggestions to help you get started. I would recommend working with an advisor to help you navigate this area of your life. My suggestions would be to look into mutual funds, ETFs to get started. These types of investments are baskets of stocks, meaning that they are groups of companies that are put together in this basket so that when you invest, you're investing across a diverse range of companies. Look for ones that track the index. So specifically index funds, they track the S&P 500. I'll include a couple of the links from moneymimosas.com that walks through these different types of investments. They're easy to get started with, meaning that it doesn't require a ton of steps, and they're generally fairly intuitive in terms of understanding what you're investing in. So that's what I would recommend starting with, some sort of index funds, ETFs, and I'll include links in the notes below so that you can check out those options. And then the fifth step is to consider philanthropy. Now, this may be something that you didn't think of when you were thinking of investing. However, investing isn't simply investing in the stock market, investing in fine art or jewelry. It's also about investing in the community, because everyone benefits when the community is lifted, right? So think about philanthropy as well. Just like investing needs a plan, philanthropy also needs a plan. So consider what causes really light you up and find some organizations, maybe one organization that you want to commit to, or maybe it's a community that you want to commit to, and also include a plan around investing within that under the umbrella of philanthropy. Because the money that's currently sitting in your savings account, which is a low interest amount, right? If it's a traditional savings account, you're likely earning 0.06%, if not less interest. If it's in a high yield savings account, you might be earning 1, maybe 2%, really low return. So not only are you losing out, but that money is not being circulated in the economy in the most efficient manner. And to help you, start investing, but then also help the community by putting that money into good work. Make your money work for you and use your money to make a difference. Thank you to everyone that submitted questions this week. If you listening have a question that you would like answered, feel free to leave a comment below with your question, and be sure to include where you're from, because I try to tailor my responses depending upon where you're located. And if you want more money tips, be sure to check out moneymimosas.com. Sign up for my weekly newsletter so that you can get weekly money tips and inspiration on how to create a life of financial freedom. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.